a second.
Actually, I think I
So I
can just
can
do it like this.
check it out.
Man, just make sure the sound and
Contact and
everything
blurry.
sounds good.
I got you. I got
I mean, I have an ad first.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, it,
Um.
it's a ad for hotels because they're back. Apparently, they never left. Oh, it's Hotwire.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let me mute you in Discord real quick.
So let me see. I think it looks good from my screen.
Yeah, it,
Um.
it's a ad for hotels because they're back. Apparently, they never left. Oh, it's Hotwire.
Alright.
Okay, let me mute
One
you
second.
in
Let
Discord
me close
real
this
quick.
door because I'm making noise. I hear infinite noise. Good for my screen.
Yeah,
true.
Um.
I will
it's a
say,
ad for hotels because they're back. Apparently,
in
they never left.
Twitch, I do hear like
Oh, it's Hotwire.
Alright.
Okay, let me mute you
it's a little
in
like
Discord
Let me
real
close this.
quick.
Online. Hold on, real quick. I have to figure this. Where in the world is the mute button? So you guys aren't deaf. Alright, cool. I'll mute that. I'll put this volume up. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright. Let's see. Damn, this shit still looks bad. 1 second. How in the world did I do this last time on the other one? There was something I did. Is it on this display? Or is it just the one screen? Um,
What are you trying to do?
because it still shows like the infinite background. Well, even when I'm on Twitch, on the Twitch
Well, if
chat.
you go on Twitch, you'll see for a minute, like it will level out. Like if you're just not looking at OBS,
Uh,
because the stream on Twitch is going to be delayed by a few seconds, no matter what. If you go to look at it, you're going to be delayed by a few seconds. So like you might see yourself like 10 seconds ago.
gotcha, gotcha.
So if you give it a minute and you just gonna see what's going on, you might. Yeah, see, now it would look like that, but you went back to it. So you just gotta trust that it looks good.
Okay, so I'll
And I
just.
can see, yeah, I can even see it on.
Can you see the deck list? I just put it up.
Now
I
I
know there's a
can.
delay. Does the deck list look normal, or is it like infinite screens in the back?
No, no, it looks normal. It's just your desktop right now, whatever you're looking at.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Exactly the same for me.
All right, yeah, yeah, that's perfect then. So, yeah, I guess I could just edit the beginning part and just start from here.
Yeah, even
Um,
if you wanted, you can always record yourself with OBS. You don't have to
to
always
stream it.
stream and capture a stream. You can
Mm,
just capture it. You can just do a capture. So it's yeah, it's even if you don't want to stream it.
gotcha, gotcha. But I think we got a couple people too watching. So I guess if they ask questions, they could just ask you while we're doing it. So guys, what's going on?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
your boy Eddie St. here with the man, the legend himself, Nicholas Kenner. You guys wanted his deck profile. He's finally here.
Yes,
My dog took a
indeed.
trip. I was gonna meet him at locals, but then he was like, "Yo, Eddie, so I'm in New York." I'm like, "Oh, damn!" So that deck profile wasn't happening.
Yeah,
But
I had some I had a family mission to bust in New York, so it was like, all right, I'm gonna do the core TCG online there for a few hours before getting on my flight and just getting participation stuff. So
dude, that's super plus. My man came with his Mechikabura deck, took off and did his thing, and then flew off to New York, bro, went to go celebrate. But without further ado, he is here. I'll let him introduce himself, and then we'll go into the highly anticipated deck list for his top 8 Mechikabura deck list, man.
nice to meet you all. It's good to be on this channel. Eddie's a super swell guy. He shows up at my locals half the time, and he's there. He claps people up, and I'm like, listen, man, we gotta do an interview.
Oh, damn.
Um, I have a lot of experience in Yu-Gi-Oh, and I started playing this game since set three. So I thought, why not play again? I'm vaccinated, so it's time to get back, play some events in person. So it was time. with
Oof.
Mechikabura.
It was, and you're probably the only person in that entire weekend that topped with Mechikabura. So big shout out to you because everyone else it wasn't looking that good for them on the top cut results. But
I saw, yeah, a lot of people chose not to play it.
yeah, and then the people who did play it just didn't do that well with it. But it's okay because
They didn't do well.
hopefully your list will provide the shell that people are looking for. So without further ado, let's get into this bad boy, man. Go ahead and talk about it.
Okay, so I don't know if I necessarily want to go over what every single card does. What were the before I go into it, I saw Bristown ask what were the matchups. I played against two Dark Broly. Round one was Dark Broly. Round two was Jonathan with Mecha Frieza. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, he was playing Mecha Frieza.
Yeah, his Mecha Frieza. Yeah, another Dark Broly, and oh god, there's one more. See, this is what happens when you just fly right after you forget. But I know I played against two Dark Broly and a Mecha. Oh, and a blue Gohan, set 13 Gohan with our boy Andrew from our locals.
Oh yeah.
Because he showed up.
Mhm.
And my only loss was to Jonathan's Mecha, which was a 1-2. Because he had clapped me game one, and then I saw what his deck did. I'm like, oh, I got this. So game two,
He
because
clapped his cheeks.
we don't have many mechas at our locals, so
Yeah.
I don't get the opportunity that often.
Mhm.
And what can I say? Dark Broly was just an uphill battle, or not a downhill battle. It's unfair to a Dark Broly player if they play against me. You just lose all your free summons half the time. So, because I'm warping everything, I'm taking every single card. So. But my matchups were, I think, a little in my favor, so I'm not gonna toot my own horn. It helped get by to top 8 after Swiss, and then obviously in top 8 I had to play against Hassan Moedin's
King Piccolo.
What's it called? King Piccolo, and that matchup's really hard because your leader is always gonna steal something 3 or less or 4 or less. Like you have options with all your cards together, but. When you're stealing something with your leader, Drum has barrier. It's just not a good time. And then they have 20 dual attackers, 20k dual attackers. So when they're swinging, even if you bean yourself once a turn, they're still 20k. Like there are 2 swings that are gonna go through. It's an uphill matchup. It's not easy. Let me bring on my deck list on my monitor so I can see it as well.
Not bad.
So for anyone watching. He's like, hey, he played Power Burst in the sideboard instead of the main board. Yes, I feel like that was not my best moment. I feel like maybe
we
this
talked
was
about
a
that
better
before.
main board. Yeah, I feel like that was just a better main deck set, but I did not because I was in a rush and I had only played this deck maybe for 2 hours cumulative. Or like maybe 4 hours cumulative. Because I went to our locals on Thursday and then I didn't touch the deck till the event, so that was all the time I got to play with the deck. But I chose to play also 3 of these Toa Dark Unisons, or Toa Dark Demon Realm Sciences. I felt like this would be a cute card to play. I feel like people don't know how to answer a 20k Unison half the time. Because people are like, well, my leader's 15 most of the time, or 10, and most of my bodies on turn 1 or 2 are 15, like with any deck most of the time, unless it's Dark Broly. But then you're just chilling with 30Ks no matter what. But I felt like this Unison was a really good answer over either no Unison or playing the Black Smoke Dragon. I felt like Black Smoke Dragon just wasn't cutting it for me. I felt like I always pitched balls with one of the 4 drops no matter what. So why really waste the card, like 1 energy on a Unison that's going to do nothing half the time? So I thought, let's play a Unison that gets a marker, not even by its own effect, right? Because if I steal a creature, if I steal one of your monsters with Meki, he gets a marker. If I play this 4-drop Toa and pitch 2 balls, on play it's going to warp a body.
Yes, sir.
And that will give this a marker. And same with the Salsa if you manage to resolve that. And yeah, just no matter what, if a body leaves the board, you're getting a marker. So you would just give it markers, and then you could also use the activate main for -4 a turn early, without having to use its uptick to its own uptick to pitch something to warp a card. So I found that to be really fun, and it came in clutch a lot. Having a 20k swing earlier than you think in this deck helped because I didn't have to commit resources to like I'm defending it because it's 20k, and I would always just not have to neg myself to steal a creature or to warp something because all my 4 drops or my leader would just give it the marker on its own. So I thought that was really nice.
Makes sense.
Yeah, three normal balls and 4 promo balls. I just felt like that was the way to go. I don't know why I didn't. I should just go through the list. We played the Tui Kutsakai because there was too much. There was too much willy nilly going on my opponent's on my own turn. So I just felt like I wanted to be prepared. Main deck 2 of them. Darkness Judgment. I don't if you're playing Mechikabura and you're not playing for this card, I think something is wrong. I think you really want to max out on this card. Just Bean was so powerful for a black deck. It was unfair for half the decks I played against. They weren't doing much. And even at our locals on Thursday, it just seemed like people were not prepared to pitch extra cards to go in on you. We played 3 of the 1-drop Mechikabura. I did think a lot of times I wanted to play the 4th. Mostly because once you use the ball, you get rid of your balls and you give it your leader triple attack. All your 4-drops can't play themselves for 1 energy because you have to have 2 or more balls in the drop. So this was the only card that keeps you alive late game if you're trying to play 4-drop eyes and you don't draw into your bombs. For Poutine, like why not? Poutine is just stupid.
At first, I thought it said discard. I'm like, I'm about to push your shit in, and the next thing you know, it said warp. I'm like, oh yeah, my turn's over.
once I resolve this, it's just a floodgate. It's just this
is natural floodgate.
Ooh. We played 4 of this Sparking Super combo. Sparking is obviously a way to go. I didn't feel like the Vegeta Super combo was where it was at with this. I just feel like I want to draw the card and defend myself early. Because the later you go with this deck, the better it gets. I played 3 of the new Supreme Kainegates.
How did this card perform for you during the tournament?
It did everything half the time. Like when I'd have 1 mana open, this would usually resolve in that turn, and it would. Like against the blue Gohan deck, once they swing with the 30k triple strike 10-drop Gohan, it's warped. Some Dark Broly player played the 7-drop. It's a brand new Mass Saiyan. It's the Bardock Mass Saiyan, but he's Super Saiyan 3 and it looks like he's stepping on you. It's an SR. That guy played that on me, and that thing says it only does its effect on an extra card negate. So I just played this and warped it. So that just freed it up. It gets rid of the red targets in the Dark Broly matchup, so when they want a Heartfelt Plea, they can't. Their body's gone. Now they have to extend to play another one if they play more. Overall, that card, it's really good. Also, secret rares. If anyone's seen the interaction, you get rid of a secret rare with this most of the time.
It's gone.
9 times out of 10, your secret rare says it's removed from the game once it leaves the board.
Same thing with the Vegeta time agent from Vegex. Don't forget, guys, that thing is gone.
Yeah, super gone. So that it performed incredibly well. If you don't have it, pick it up now. It's definitely a black staple.
Yes, sir.
Black staple all the way. I played 4 Salsa because Salsa was just Salsa and Toa are definitely the MVPs of this deck as far as like one little bodies go. Because Salsa always draws you a card every turn on swing and warp something, and and when you play them, they're warping 1, drawing 1 from hand. So you get to your 10 to 20 cards for your Deluge of Darkness pretty quickly. We played 3 Shroom. Shroom put in no work. I might even literally like not lying. This card did absolutely nothing half the time. It was sad. I didn't know what to really do. I thought maybe I was wrong for even playing 3.
Uh-huh.
By the end of the tournament, I was just like, damn, this card sucks. Like, it does nothing. Like, it does really nothing half the time because you get rid of all the bodies you can before you even have a chance to play this. So there's nothing on the board really. But it still does, pitch 2 balls and rip a battle card from their drop area to the warp. So I feel like it's all right. Sorry, his one's 89 said, "How did the Toa perform? I've been told people about that uni. That the Unison did really relatively well. I don't know if I would play it again because I did charge it in a lot of my Dark Broly matchups. Like after playing it maybe once, I was kind of like, Dark Broly is going to answer the 20k really easily with 30ks. But against every other deck, like against blue or against yellow, even if they throw like the double strike apes on board, the Unison did relatively well. If you want to play it, play it. It just really depends how many Dark Brolys are at your locals. If you're playing Dark Broly, if you're playing against Dark Brolys most of the time, you don't even need this in your deck. You put it in the sideboard. It really does nothing in that matchup. So I was just charging it against Dark Broly most of the time.
Yeah, and as a
But
player
against,
that like, oh my god, that's what you're saying.
yeah, but against every other deck, yes, Uni performs really well. To be honest.
Yeah, as a player who plays a lot of black decks like myself, I'll tell you right now, I think just from what Kenner said, this like Toa Unison just completely replaces Shroom because the times you want Shroom, like it's just underwhelming. Like if you're going to get Spectre Frieza, this is going to be your bread and butter, right? The card you'll probably discard the most. I mean, Kenny could probably attest when you use Quetzalcoatl in those games that matter. It's just completely utterly insane. So now if you're combining using Toa against Mecha Frieza while pitching Quetzalcoatl to shut down their entire turn, because at this time and point, the only thing they can use on you is just if they're still playing Nimbus by some chance, which I doubt they will be playing Nimbus because they're gonna have the Champ Back Frieza. Exactly, they got the Champ Back Frieza followed by the Bergamo, followed by Houtine, followed by a bunch of shenanigans, right? This is completely just is good for those matchups. But like as Kenner said, against Dark Broly, it does absolutely nothing. So it's just a bunch of 30k swinging at you. But you're not gonna sideline this just for one deck. So yeah, I would get
Yeah,
back into
no,
this.
absolutely not. I'd probably cut it moving forward because we have too many black players, like black decks floating around our local scene. I'm one of them, so that's what it is. I love these black decks. They're always so cool. I love the Dragon Ball Hero archetypes. I think they're sick.
Yeah, it is.
Um, and okay, and then the follow up with the bodies, we played the little bodies. We did also play it for the Toa. Toa was the best
Yeah, I
card
was gonna say.
of this deck. This is the best card of this deck, hands down. This is the reason the deck can even do as well is because this card exists. Because it outs anything. So against Dark Broly or any other big body board, you're warping something regardless of energy cost. It doesn't ignore barrier, but this bout when you play it, it's gonna warp something.
Yeah.
In turn would give my Unison a marker, and it was always a good time. And it's a blocker. You want to block in this deck. And then going down to like my my game enders. We had Deluge of Darkness. Yeah, Daddy Deluge.
Yeah.
Papa Deluge. Whoa, what can not be said about this card? This card won every game. Yeah. I didn't lose a game where I played this. There'd be times where my opponent is like, why are you comboing so much to put me to 1? And they would take it, and I'd be like, look, I win. It's Victory Strike.
Yeah.
It's Black Victory Strike. It's so stupid. I had been just before the event, and Eddie can attest to this. I was playing a 1 of this and 1 of the SR from set 12, I believe, the Mask King, where he gets triple strike.
Brings out on a 4, I think a 4 drop essentially.
Yeah, you play it for 4. I was playing 1 of that, and I thought that card was good too at face value because it has deflect, but against what I was going up against most of the day, especially like against Mecha or Invoker if I hadn't run into it, because Legends and the other guy were there. There's 2 Invokers. If I had played against them, this card would have been it. But if I was playing against those decks, that card would just shut off to Death Beam or Final Flash, because Final Flash is just gonna remove its keyword and you exhaust yourself for no reason.
Exactly.
not worth it. But this card won me every single game. If you don't have this card and you want to play this deck, I'm sorry. You should get them while you can, because I remember when they started revealing all this stuff, I was like, listen, guys, I think this card will be good this set.
Yep.
I think it'll do something. So it really put in the work. That's the card that won me every game, just about. I didn't lose a game where I played it. It won me just about every single game that day.
Big facts. I remember he played me in locals, guys. I'm like, Kenner, bro, you should be playing this card at multiples. He's like, why? I'm like, it's literally what he just told you guys. I'm like, you can't interact with this card. Once it
Yeah, you
comes down, it
can't.
has deflect, and once it swings, there's nothing you can do. Like, if you're at one, it's literally game over. And even if you're at more than one, dude, you still have to stop the attack because literally, it's a guaranteed double strike, right? The only card that will stop it
Yeah.
is literally the Herald's Lineage, because no matter what happens, even if you Final Flash it, if you brainwash it, it's gonna inflict the one damage. So realistically speaking, it's gonna be it's a double strike because the one is gonna come automatically off the auto. You can't. There's one card in the game that stops pending autos, and that's petrification. So if you're not playing against black, that's out the window. It's lit. If you're not playing against black, guaranteed one damage, and now they have to stop that attack, which is insanely good, guys. Really, really a must. And I'm glad Kenner listened and put them in because boy, oh boy, I'm telling you, when I saw it
Mattered a lot.
yeah,
I wouldn't have topped the event had I not been playing this.
I'm
That
glad
card
he
would have won
listened,
me
bro.
every
That card
game.
is insane, dude.
It's so good. And then also other MVP of the deck was this 6-drop King Vegeta.
Talk about that
Because
real quick because a lot of people don't know like what it does, if it's even worth the slot. Like this is like a surprise flex slot. So talk about this one real quick.
so I said 4 of this card. I said I don't care if it has unique. I want to resolve this almost every game because when you play this card, while it doesn't have deflect, it does have barrier. So not a lot of things are choosing this card on play. And it's usually pretty safe. You're usually resolving this card on play. And when you play it, you can just rip a card out of their hand up to 1 or one of their battle cards. So whatever is giving you the most issue, chances are you're gonna rip a card from your hand because I've ripped secret rares out of people's hands, and people have ripped secret rares out of my hand when they play this card. Or you just rip a card. It's just, who doesn't like taking a card of their choice from their opponent's hand?
Yeah.
So already strong. And then when this card is in rust mode once per turn, if they were to swing at your leader, they have to warp 1 card from their hand just to swing at it. So it's usually going to net you a couple cards off your opponent because they have to either combo over this thing and get rid of it early because they're in this like topo mindset that if I swing at my opponent's leader, I warp a card now. And so a lot of people might just, commit resources on this guy or swing at leader and lose a card. And then at that point, your 1 card got rid of 2 cards. So this card really puts in work and it has double strike. So if you want to go for something safe with double strike and you don't want to get final flashed or anything, I mean, this card will do it. Like this card will put in work. Barrier's strong. And it's 19k, so it's a 20k defensively, 15k offensively. You can't really complain for two energy. Chances are you're playing for 2 energy.
Big fact.
So this card puts in work for most black decks now. Because right, yeah, you can just play this in most black decks. You're not restricted.
No, you're not.
So yeah, you can play this in Vegex, which is really strong too. You can play it in Supreme Kai Time. You can play it. Dark Broly.
Yep.
I think you should play in Dark Broly. I think Dark Broly can benefit a lot.
Yeah, the biggest things with this is imagine if you wanted to play the Demigra, the Draft Box 5 Demigra, but you do not want to overwhelm and you want to duck Violent Rage and play Dark Broly. This is it's the card. It's like I kept telling the team. It's funny I was about to say that it's the broke man's Demigra, man. It's the poor man's Demigra, but like
it's broke man's Demigra. Yeah, that's exactly what we were saying.
Exactly. It's the thing is it's good because the stuff that Demigra gets stopped by, it's like this ducks you. Like I said, if you're playing Dark Broly, you don't want to play Demigra. You can save your drop, still tap 2. You have a choice between warping a problematic card on board, or just you get to choose one from their hand. And it's like I said, it's like Kenner said earlier, it's a deadly defender as barrier, which is really, really huge because they can't just take it on you. The only downside about it is that it does have unique, unfortunately. But once again, man, like this card is OP. It's a 0-5k combo. Like this card's insane, guys. So really check it out too.
There were a good amount of times where my opponent would overextend to get rid of this thing, and I would just have a second one in hand and be like, all right, it did its job. I'll just play one next turn. And then they're just, man, I lost my secret rare. I went down to too many cards, and my hand was 6 cards. I ripped a secret rare. It's gone. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, and obviously in Kai you want to be playing Demigra as much as possible. Three is a solid number. That's all I have. I don't have 4 of that card. People are asking way too much for it right now. Um, let's see. What were the last 2 cards in my deck? I had 2 of the 8-drop Mechikaburas. This card was hit or miss half the time. Feel like it really just depends on the matchup because this card doesn't ignore barrier when you're warping your opponent's board.
Yeah.
Because you have to choose them all, and for that reason, I played 2 of this card. While it was a
you
good
always
30.
saw it when you needed it at 2?
Honestly, for me, I was very unfortunate. I would see them early game and put them under with like the Topo Poutine, or I would put it under with my leader effect like prematurely, way before we get to turn 4 or 5. So it was I would see it, although I never kept it because I always wanted to just go for Deluge at hand because like at some point I would look at my life because you always do look at your life. And I would always see Deluge of Darkness in my life. So I'm like, I'm going to get to this card no matter what. So let me just play the game as if I'm going to do that. And it worked out for me most times.
Makes sense.
But yeah, this card is not as good as... What's FDC? No FDC in this list? What's up?
Yeah, Further Instruction Champa.
Oh, no, I didn't play any Double Strike Champas. Yeah, I was thinking that after the event. I was like, that card would be good too. Yeah. But this deck is really tight. Like, there's I would take out the Toas for like 2 Double Strike Champas and put in maybe something else in here. I don't know. Maybe a 4th of the 1-drop Mechikabura, or just Power Burst. I should just throw Power Burst in there. Yeah. And then last but not least, since Shenron SCR, what can I say? This card is dummy thick, dummy good. This is probably this is the new Kai. Like I think this card is live turn 2. Not a lot of secret rares are. They're not. This card is not restricted to mana or energy. So that's the thing. Like this card is so dumb. Because once you play this, if you play it on turn 2, you're resting 2 cards. Chances are that's all the cards they have to swing with. Like you're gonna rest it prematurely. Yeah, this card just resolved almost every time, and if I saw it, I played it. It just proceeded to just make a really safe turn 4 experience for me when my opponent was going off. I was just chilling.
Do you feel like you would change secret rares, or this would have to be the secret rare of the moving forward?
I think for me, maybe I would go back to playing Kai. Yeah, funny enough, before this event, see, I was in a rush. I just kind of went with it. I had this in the deck, and then I thought to myself, wait, why am I not playing Kai? I just picked one up. So I messed up on that. But also, like, if you have this is obviously, like, a good alternative to Kai.
Like a Black Baby Hatch?
Yeah. They both really do magic, because a lot of these decks have good unisons and good leaders right now, like King Cold. Like, a Kai against King Cold is kind of frustrating for them, and they lose out on the leader effects. They don't really lose out on it, but they lose out on the 10k double strike on that. But, yeah, Sin Shenron was definitely super good. If you have one, play. If you don't, pick one up. Please, just pick one up. You'll be really sorry if you don't ever get one of these. Because they're gonna be like what Supreme Kai was at this point.
Yeah, it's just generic, so
it's generic. And as far as sideboard goes, I was kind of going off a whim. I felt like if I played against a King Piccolo player, I would side in the Kami. Power Burst, obviously, against aggro matchups, like a Vegex or anything else crazy. I did send them in against the Dark Broly matchups I played. Extinction attacks, I felt like against Dark Broly or a green deck with Ribrian, I wanted to play it because I can just get rid of it in combo phase. let's see, Toa Twisted Sister. This card I didn't get to play because I never played a mirror match. But this card was just meant to push balls back under the deck against the
That's
mirror.
so troll, dude.
Yeah, that's
I'm dead.
but it's it draws a card, so it's replacing itself, and then you're just putting them a turn behind from wanting to triple attack.
Yeah, that's so
And
troll.
then
That's funny though.
a card works. I just
Yeah.
haven't. It works in theory.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. It worked in theory. I just never got a chance to play it. So it's whatever.
That's funny.
I played 2 Mechie for the Dark Broly matchup specifically, just
Yep.
so I can lock you out of 6 drops.
Mhm.
Ritual at hand, Deborah. I felt like I would run into a discard deck, at least one. Because our boy Julian was playing a discard deck,
Yeah,
and
Cell Surge, Hand Destruction.
there was Cell Surge, and then there was also a green Broly player, OG Broly.
Yeah, there was.
So if I ran into that, I'm gonna resolve this hopefully. The 4th Kai for the blue Gohan matchup. This card will win you straight up games off that deck. And Dark Banisher for the mirror match again, just in case we went too long. I was just like, I want to kill you first, because in the mirror match, it really comes down to who draws Deluge Darkness first half the time, and or Fu if you're playing in that matchup. And you know what though, I'm upset at myself too for also not deciding to play any overwhelms in this deck, because I thought after removing balls you should play at least one overwhelm.
Yeah, at least the Bardock dude. Fighting against fates.
Yeah, just play dual attack Bardock.
Yeah.
Play dual attack Bardock and just say no negates. That's all you
Sure.
say.
Pretty much. Any changes you make to
Yeah, that's my Mechikabura. I would definitely remove the Toas for a minute from me personally, just because we have a lot of Dark Broly players that show up to our locals half the time. I just see that deck too often. So I would put this away and just put in the 3 power bursts, and maybe take Salsa out and put a double strike Champa in.
Salsa.
Just to have the 1.
Okay.
And then maybe I would just take. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's where I would land. I think I would love to take this down by 1, but I want to see this card. I do want to see King Vegeta. I want to see the King Vegeta.
That card's got to in your deck. Yeah, it makes sense, man.
Yeah. Thank you all for listening. Also, everyone in the chat.
Any last-minute questions? I had to pop the chat open real quick. My daughter said they dig the morning team talks. Wow, this early petrification. Yeah, petrification is the only card that will stop the Dark King. I got to. Since you have no 1-drops, can you main petrification for a control negate? Would you consider maining that for a control negate? Petrification?
Petrification?
Yeah.
Mainboarding it potentially. I would have to take out one of the sensory beans and one of the power bursts to do that, because I just feel like you have a lot of negates no matter what.
Yep.
Petrification is pretty good. You can definitely make room for it.
Makes sense. I got one. A man said man on a mission. The thing with man on a mission overall, at least for me, I feel like it's just this conundrum it's in, because I feel like the overall choice, if you're trying to go for a game, should be fighting against fates or Secret Identity Mass-In, because Secret Identity Mass-In will clear all the BS that's on board. If it's just BS you got to get rid of, like if you're going against Vegeta, you have to deal with all the Kais and stuff. They can't answer that. But fighting against space has kind of the same clause too, where it has 2 attacks, so you have to stop 2 of them. And like if Kenner is putting a double strike in here, at any time and point, that can go for a double strike, at least a triple strike, if you don't block it or negate the first attack. So I don't know about man on a mission. How do you feel about man on a mission, Kenner?
Yeah, fighting against Fate is definitely the finisher of 2021. Like, that's definitely been one of the better cards for finishers this season and last season and the season before that.
Yep. Shout out to that boy Eddie St. Hilaire for introducing it, because no one wanted to play that card. I'm like, you guys are wilder than a fish with
Listen, man, I picked them up when they were $.
Yeah, remember that?
I picked those up when they were $, and
bro,
I knew. I just said,
like,
wow, bro, they banned Turles, and then they made this card, and I said, wow, dual attack 25k for no mana? Why is this not on the ban list?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was fiending for these at Logan. Like, boys, let me get these the common Bardock dual attack. Like, what was that? Let me pick these bad boys up. And it's funny, as we made this deck profile, this guy, I'm pretty sure it's gone on TCG Player. Because I was looking through the deck list real quick, see what cards I have and don't have. This guy, it's one listed, and I try to buy him real quick because I only have one. I wanted at least two, and it won't let me buy it. So I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure he's bought out. So congratulations, Canner. You just you just got this 5-drop bought out,
Yes, we did.
man. Yeah, I think we caught up on all the questions,
Man.
comments, and concerns. So, but you might give them a card with fighting against face. Yes, but if they're at 2 and you're slinging with fighting against face with a double strike, that is game. That's the biggest thing with it. Yeah, it's that one card is not gonna matter because don't forget, the one thing with this leader is when he's slinging for trip, you're not gonna use fighting against face just willy nilly, right? You probably use it when you're ulting with this. You'll have 3 attacks that draws you 3 cards. But fight against face, the biggest thing with it, it's a free dual attack. So realistically speaking, you'll probably either have this on that turn you're going for a game, or you'll probably be swinging with the 8-drop, which is a 4-drop going for a game with fighting against face, which is completely absurd because that's 3 damage right here. Fighting against face puts you at 5. Yeah, because it's 2 attacks. Along with this is guaranteed 1 damage, so that's 6. So technically you could get 8 damage, which is that's insane. Bro, that's insane. I just realized that. Technically you can put
I'll
8
say
damage.
this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll say this. This deck also rewards you for playing like a little foolishly.
Mhm.
Like you said, Overwhelm that Overwhelm's a good finisher, but I wouldn't even finish with that. I would just put as much pressure as I can with the 25k dual attacks, put
Yep.
them to 1 by comboing everything on the second life, second to first life, or second to last life. Yeah, and I would just swing at the when they're at 1 and call it a day, and you win. There's nothing you can do. It's
Yep,
dumb.
with the now bought out Dark Mask King, the Illusion of Darkness.
Yeah,
Congratulations, kid. Welcome
bot
to the T
Spectrum.
Talks buyout sessions. Another one. But yeah.
Another one, yes. Card's good. Card's
Yep.
super good.
Any last minute shout out to want to give before we
Necessary.
go?
Uh, shout outs to Legends, the Invoker player. I'm
Mhm,
still borrowing his Deluge of Darkness. I have 4. I showed up to the event with 1 on hand. I just didn't have any more. I was like, I need to play this at 2.
mhm.
And he gave me the card, so I gave him an event pack card as collateral, and
Yeah,
I just forgot to give it to him on the way out.
yeah.
So I'm still holding out. So shout out to Legends. Shout out to my boys, Hassam Moideen, Chrisabella, Julian Rodriguez, Ace and Hilaire. All these guys, good players, a lot of good practice. I'm blessed to be playing in Florida with these guys. They're a lot of good players.
Well, one huge shout out to you because I forgot to tell you, Legends did message me. He said he could keep it, so I'm assuming he opened the event pack you gave him. So now you have a bought out Dark King, the Illusion of Darkness on your side. He messaged me. He told me at first he said to ship it to him, but I guess he opened your pack because he said just tell him to keep it. So yeah, so it's yours. I forgot to tell you that, by the way.
No, I gave him the event an event pack Majin Buu. It's the black one that activates in your drop area.
Yeah, you super plus, dude. Just take it. You hella plus. The top one draw 2 for a dark bro. You hella plus off that deal. Congratulations, my boy. You said
No,
tap one,
if he
draw
wanted it back,
2.
I would give it back.
Uh, but yeah, all right, man. Thanks for joining us. Everyone else, thanks for tuning
Thanks.
in.
Yeah.
I'll probably have more surprise sessions like this because, like I said, at first I was just on here with Canner because we wanted to do we just wanted to record a deck profile. I wanted to do Twitch, and I looked up and it was like 15, 18 people just following us right there. So I'm like, oh damn. So I guess you guys like the early morning team talks. It was 9 o'clock over here, so we probably
We're
started like
early birds,
8:30. Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. I'll be sure to hit you guys with surprise sessions like this, man. If you guys like it, just make sure to comment in the section down below and let us know you want more, man. Once again, thank you guys. Thank you, Kenner, for joining us, and we'll see you again next time, man.
Thank you. Did you hit stop?
I'm trying to.